Let me share. Great morning, great morning. What's up, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope? How you guys doing? I'm gonna let y'all come on in. I was so trying not to do this today, but God had another plan. There's the plans that we make, and then there's plans that God makes. Hey, Miss Carolyn, how are you, beautiful? Good to see you. Hey, you guys. Great Saturday morning. Y'all know I got to get my 1044 Pro Bar in. I already had my coffee. What's up, Witty? What's going on? So listen, let me tell y'all something. God is doing some incredible things, and happy birthday, Alita. Today's Alita's birthday, y'all. So listen, God is doing some amazing things. And if I tell you, this is not the season to not do what he tells you to do. Listen, there's some things that he's desiring to do in the earth that requires us. And it means that we have to get out of our way and get out of our head. Because the moment you think you figure God out, it's the moment that he changes the game on you. Baby, he will have you doing stuff that looks absolutely insane to everybody around you. You'll think you've lost your mind, that you've gone cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. They'll even tell you it's not him. But he knows the journey he has you on. Baby, let me tell you something. These people that think they know everything God is doing in your life, but they can't figure out what he's doing in his, that's a problem. If you know so much, everything that God is doing, as it relates to me in my life, why your life jacked up? I need some answers. It's so much rigidity. People just so rigid and don't understand that we serve a fluid God. Hey, daughter, I'm up prophesying, baby. Girl, I've been up. Don't do that. You know how your mama is. Y'all, my amazing daughter. I love her so much. You need to call me, girl. So listen, in this season, God is moving in some supernatural ways. And so there are things that have been on the horizon, but the horizon is now. There's some things that's been on the horizon, but the horizon is now. This is what I need y'all to understand. There are things that God has promised you that he said would happen that hadn't happened yet, but the time is now. The time is, I didn't want to do this live. I wanted to go back to sleep. That's what I wanted to do. And so I'm scrolling on Facebook and I saw a story. And I just congratulated someone. Shout out and congratulations to Prophetess Melissa Brown, who just got married. I love it. She's in the motherland. Congratulations, woman of God. I'm super excited for you. This is just the beginning. Eyes have not seen and ears have not heard, nor has it entered into the hearts of men the things that God has prepared for you. We love you, baby. So, yes, girl. Listen, let me tell y'all something. Listen, we're in a season where God is doing quick works. Things are happening quickly. People are going to be mad. People going to be trying to figure out why they didn't know, why you didn't tell them. Well, you couldn't tell them. But let me tell you something. Some stuff that God is doing in this season, he's got to just do it, and then you just got to show up. Otherwise, everybody and their mama have an opinion. And if you're not careful, they'll talk you out of doing what God has told you to do. This is why I had to learn. I'll tell y'all what I learned. It's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. It's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. You know, it's so funny because people want to feel like they can give you permission. This way, I don't need nobody's permission for my life. Nobody but God's. That's it. Y'all better stop giving people all this power in your life. They can tell you what to do, what they think you should do, and how you should do. But when things are tight, where are they? Where are they? Living their life, making their money, spending their money. And where are you? Stuck and struggling. But everybody got an opinion. Oh, you shouldn't do this. Oh, you should do that. Listen, what is God saying? What is God saying? That's the $1 million question. What does God say? So instead of being worried about what people say, focus on what God says. Focus on what God said. I don't know if y'all get it or not. I don't know if y'all understand or not. That what God is doing in this season, he does not need permission. Not yours, and definitely not nobody else's. No, he's moving quickly. I mean, like blink an eye, quick. He's moving quickly. And for those who hear and listen and obey, there are great blessings. To those who don't, there is yet more delay. You want the blessings now, or you want them later? What you want? I want everything God has for me now, which is why my behind just went on and got up and did this live. Even though I didn't want to. Did not. I just wanted to lay right down and go back to sleep. And I said, get up. It's been since 5:55 that I was supposed to have done this. A whole almost hour. He wasn't gonna let me rest. I was like, oh, you just not gonna do it? That's what you're doing? Okay. I'm not gonna let you go back to sleep. I'm like, well, God, listen, can you just let me close my eyes a little while? Nope. Get up and do this drive-by. So that means there's some people that need to hear something that I got to say. And not so much what something I got to say, but something God has to say, because I was good minding my business. So let me say this. Let me say this. A leader, you're stepping into the best year yet. This year, you're going to reap a great harvest. Things are going to move quickly for you. You're going to see quick changes in every area of your life. There's going to be a level of stability that you haven't had in a while. But it's going to come with love, and all the things that you always desired. So this is the thing about this season. This is the season where you get the desires of your heart, the hidden desires, the things that you've not really talked about. You may not have really told anyone that you wanted that. And you're going to see it show up. He's going to say things that you told God, like he going to have to say da 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 da, or he going to have to do da 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 for me to know. And it's going to happen. And you'll know. And don't be scared. Don't be scared. Don't be afraid. Don't, let God work out the details. See, our problem is this. We want to work out all the details. We want to map everything out, work everything out. We want to do all of that instead of allowing God to do what God does best. Let God work out the details. You just be obedient. That's all you have to do. Just be obedient and watch what God does. Elisa, let me tell you something. You've been waiting a long time for, I see 2 specific promises that God has made you. And I need you to know that in the second quarter of this year, that's April, May, June, major changes are getting ready to happen. So y'all, I need y'all to understand we're in a season. You got to understand what this season is. You know, when you are in this season, right, where we're coming up to the Passover, like this is a season for change. This is a season for things to spring forward. I'm telling y'all, listen, I need y'all to hear me. I got goosebumps. God has been clearing things and people out of the way to propel you forward. And some of you've given up on having the success that God has shown you. And at least while you've not given up, you're tired. You're tired. You're just tired. You're like, God, I'm tired. I'm tired of waiting. I'm tired of, thinking this is it, but it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired. But God says that this is the year that you see those 2 promises fulfilled because you've been so faithful. You've been diligent and you've waited, and you've not waited mad. You know how some people be waiting, they just be mad. That's not how you've waited. And he's going to honor that, and he's going to bless you for that. And so from April to the end of June, like you're going to see these 2 things pop off. By the third quarter, that's July, August, September, it's going to be a major move for you. There's going to be a major move. So get ready, girl. Get ready. Listen, Miss Carolyn. Ooh, every time I see your name, I just hear God saying it ain't over. It ain't over. It ain't over. It ain't over. There's a song that says it ain't over till God says that it's over. It ain't over till God says it's done. Like, I promise you, it ain't over. God has some things that he's still yet going to do in you and through you. I need you to embrace that. I need you to not only embrace it, but I need you to walk that thing out. So whatever he tells you to do that, regardless of what anyone thinks or says, just do that. Do whatever God tells you. Tanya, Tanya, why were you up all night? Why were you up all night? God said, why are you staying up worrying about stuff that I've already taken care of? He said that the thing that you're worrying about, he's already resolved it. It's already resolved. And you're going to see the manifestation of it this week. This week, you'll see the manifestation of the resolution that God already has given, right? So go to sleep, go to bed. You do not have to stay up all night. You staying up all night does not make it happen. He said, you've done what you were supposed to do. Let him do what he's doing. And you just sit back, relax, baby. He got you. This week, you'll see the resolution. But get some rest. Get some rest. Stop trying to stay up and worry and not trying to stay up, but you know what I'm saying? You know, y'all know what we do. We just stay up trying to figure it out. Talking about why, God? Why? And he said, because I need your testimony. See, some of the stuff that we experience, God simply needs a testimony. I was talking to someone and I was telling them, I said, listen, in network marketing, y'all know I'm in network marketing. I'm in 1044 Pro. It's a health and wellness company. But this is what I was telling them. I said, I came into this company to create stories that show people what's possible. So I came in and in 24 hours, I made $1,000, right? Maxed out the comp plan. Then they added a new position. In 28 days, I hit the new position and was a top money earner in the company in 28 days. Now, mind you, I've never done that before in any company. I've never done that before in any company that I've been a part of. But the timing, the positioning, everything, all the conditions were right. And I said, listen, every time we do something new, my goal is to create stories surrounding it. And when I say stories, I mean testimonies, right? Because it is in the stories, it is in the testimonies that people can see, hey, wow, maybe this can happen for me. And so I thrive on creating the conditions that are required to move the hearts of people. Not for show, but for change, real change. And so I've been having these conversations with people, and I know it's hard, y'all. Listen to me. I'm not saying that it's easy to allow yourself to be put out there or to put yourself out there during the process. Most people don't want their process to show. They just want the final product to show. But listen, God told me, he said, you will show the process because people need to see the process. They need to see you not being able to do certain exercises. They need to see you struggling with it. They need to see all of that because then they'll know they're not alone. They're not the only one. It's not that Dr. V got it all figured out and Dr. V is so perfect and so she can do it because it's Dr. V. No, it's that this stuff is a struggle sometimes. It's that sometimes you got to go through stuff that doesn't feel good, that it hurts sometimes, that sometimes you can't do it when you start, but later on you begin to build your strength and your stamina so that you can do it more and do it better. Listen, I'm trying to help somebody right now. Listen, God says your process is what the people need. They need your process. They need your process. You're wondering why some things haven't happened for you because you're not willing to share your process. You're not willing to share your process. You're not willing to be honest about it. You're not willing to be authentic about it. Hey, listen, I'm just going to tell y'all, listen, Dr. V's in a new place. I'm in a new place. And in this new place, I don't care what the people think. I don't care. When I tell you that this place is a place of liberation, a place where I'm truly walking in the freedom that God has given me, and doing so because I'm called to a certain people. When you're called to a certain people, you're not going to necessarily look like the other people want you to look because you ain't for them. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at what anyone thinks or how they feel or any of that. That's their business. They don't have nothing to do with me. This is what I know. I know that I can never allow what someone else thinks to dictate my movements and my actions because God is very specific with me. Very specific. God is very deliberate with me. When it comes to me and my relationship with God, believe me, I know how to hear him. Just like I heard him when he told me that you're not going back to sleep, get up and do this prophetic drive-by. I know how to hear him. And we talk. He's my friend for real. Okay. That's my daddy for real. And he's particular when it comes to me. Okay. So I hear his voice. And I promise you, anytime I'm out of line, oh, he gets me. Oh, I don't think he doesn't. Oh, he gets me. And he knows how to get me. And he'll get me right together. And I'll be like, it's why. You know how the kids do with the parents? That's how I be sometimes. I do. But I do it. So know this. Know that he knows everything about you. Every single thing. There's nothing that he does not know about you. Nothing. And so because he knows everything about you, I don't want you to think that he's not concerned about what concerns you. He is. This is the difference between you and him. You've got a microscopic view of what's going on. And he has the whole view. You got a microscopic view, so you can just see a little bit, but he can see everything. Okay, Whitfield, I'm gonna tell him. So Whitfield, David Anthony Whitfield, David Anthony Whitfield has lost weight. His body is changing, but he don't want to show his pictures. I said, Whitfield, you need to show the people your pictures. He said, not yet, Doc, not yet, not yet, not yet. He said, I got some more stuff I need to do. I said, okay, and do that, but show them where you were and show them where you are right now. He was like, no, Doc, I can't do it yet. I can't do it yet. I'm not comfortable because I got man boobs. I said, you've been having man boobs. That's not new. They smaller than they were. What are you doing? What are you talking about? He was like, no, I need to get them to a certain place because, listen to me. I promise y'all, I put pictures up with dimples all in my legs. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? They looking like cottage cheese. I'm telling y'all, with rolls, my body was not and is still not perfect. But I showed the process. I think one of the hardest things for me to do was to pull out my picture of first. When I first started working out, I was like, oh my God, I was a whole hot mess. But people need to see it. But when we want to show people what the now, but we don't want them to see the before, we deprive them of the opportunity to know that they can do it. We deprive them of the opportunity to see that there's someone else going through a process. This is what I know, Whitfield. You're not the only man with man boobs out there saying, I'm not comfortable because I got man boobs and a belly. Well, guess what? You get to be the example. You get to be the one that inspires them to know that they can do something to change their situation, that they can do something to change the way their body looks if they don't like it. Now, listen, if you like the way your body looks, leave your body alone. Don't worry about it. But if you don't complain about it and don't feel helpless, because as long as you have breath in your body, there's something that you can do. I'm so glad that we are a part of this company. I'm so glad because these products are changing people's lives. And I'm not just talking about weight loss or weight release. I'm talking about their blood pressure levels. I'm talking about their blood levels. I'm talking about cholesterol going down. I'm talking about all of those things. Listen, these bars are changing people's lives. I'm talking about their skin. I'm talking about their endurance, their stamina. I'm talking about their desire to work out. See, this is the catch-22 with working out is you don't have any energy, but you need to work out. But to work out, you need energy. So these products give you an energy boost without caffeine and a crash so that you can do what you need to do and they hydrate your body. See, this is why I don't care. Listen, I want y'all to hear me very clearly. I want to say this clearly and I want y'all to understand it. I want y'all to hear my heart. Y'all listening? I need y'all to listen. Y'all listening? Listen. Sometimes God moves you. Sometimes God moves you. Listen to me. Sometimes God moves you because you're the key for some other people. But you got to be in a certain position. Sometimes God moves you because you're the key for some other people, but he needs you in a certain position. Sometimes he moves you. Sometimes that move is a geographical move. Sometimes that move is a company move. Sometimes that move is a mental move, a mindset move. Sometimes that move is a spiritual move. Sometimes that move is a church move. Sometimes that move is, a relationship move. Sometimes that move is, listen, I could go on and on and on about the ways the move can exist. But this is what you need to know, that God is moving you. Y'all can be stuck and stagnant if you want to and sit where you at and just die. Or you can move and live. Listen, I came to speak to the dry bones. I came to speak to the dry bones that have dried up, that are just laying there, rusty and dusty. I came to speak to the dry bones and say, arise, dry bones, and live. I came to speak to the sinews, that the sinews and the muscle would attach to the bones. I came to speak to the skin, that the skin would cover it. And I came to breathe life, so that life and the very ruach breath of God would be blown into you, that you might live again. Because some of y'all are the walking dead. You've been dead. And so God says, no, that's not your portion. It is not your portion to be the walking dead. It is your portion to live and to have life, and life more abundant. That is your portion. You praying, trying to figure out if God wants you to prosper? Yes. What are you talking about? Yes. When Jesus says, I came that you may have life and life more abundant, he meant that. And he didn't just mean spiritually. He meant financially. He meant in terms of love and peace and joy. He came that you might have life and have it a more abundant life, so that people look at your life and they want to serve the God you serve. Now people look at your life and they want to run from that God. I want y'all to understand. I want y'all to get this. And no, he doesn't want you to live a dry, boring, shriveled up life. It's not what he wants. Let me tell you what he also doesn't want. He doesn't want you to be able to live. He doesn't want your life cut short so that you don't live long enough to do the things that you're called to do, because your life ends prematurely because of your choices. So when I look at how God is maneuvering me and positioning me and all of those things, I know that he has a plan. And that plan is to give me a hope and a future, and to bring me to an expected end. And he's dealing with the physical. Let me tell y'all why God deals with the physical. I believe with everything in me that God has me aging backwards and looking the way I look, because people are visual and people want to see that it works. People want to see that the life you're living, that the strategies that you use, that the products that you use or you're promoting, that they really do work. How do they know they work? By looking at you. If you are not evidence, there's a problem. So God said, I'm going to make you evidence, my God, today. Listen, now, whoever it is, that has the gift of the interpretation of tongues, I need y'all to message me and tell me what I just said, because I don't know what I said, but I know you know what I said. And I normally don't do this, but I heard God say there's someone that he's talking to through these tongues that I'm speaking, because I rarely start speaking in tongues on my lives. But it's somebody, shikoroba kasarese ketosa, irabakoroba garesike tekoroba, isharabako serere sikoroba kasarashe ketebe, koroba kaserere sida, irabako saraba kareshe ketoba. Nekoroba kasarere seketosi, erobo comandante, erobo korisike boba. It's somebody that God is talking to. It's somebody that God is talking to. And so while it sounds like mumbo jumbo to some other people, listen, while it just sounds like tongues to me, he's speaking to you, speaking to the core of your being, speaking to you in a language that you understand, and you might not even understand how you understand what I'm saying. You may not even understand that you really do have the gift of the interpretation of tongues. You may not understand it, but you do. And you know you do because you understood what I said. And then you like, well, sound like she said da 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 da. How do I know this, right? If that's you, you need to inbox me, inbox me, inbox me. Put a comment in. You can comment on it. Listen, I'm telling y'all, God is doing supernatural things. He's doing supernatural things. That's when you operate in the natural and he adds his super to it. What did I have to do in the natural? I had to get up and do this live, even though I did not want to. I wanted to lay down. I wanted to go back to sleep. That's what I wanted to do. But God had another plan. His plan always has to win in my life. When his plan stops winning in my life, I lose. See, I understand as much as, I might argue with God, and I argue with God. Y'all listen to me. I need y'all to understand. I don't know who these people are. They do everything that God says immediately when he says it. And that's not me. Okay? That's not me. That's not me. That's not how I roll. That's not how he wired me. I'm not wired like that. I don't do that. So I'm telling you very honestly and authentically that God and I have to have some conversation sometimes. And I have to tell him, I'm not doing that. What? I just want to go to sleep. I don't feel like doing all that right now. And he'll tell me, oh, you gonna do it. Yeah, that's just me. See, maybe you're the person that you always do what God says immediately when he tells you lies. If you say that, you lying, and you need to stop that mess. Trying to be so super spiritual, so super in sync with God that you always do exactly what he says when all of us have moments where we like, I don't know if I'm gonna do that. I'm not doing that. Oh, I'm scared of that one right there. Come on, y'all, be real. Because until you're real, you can't have deliverance. There's no deliverance without realness. And speaking of deliverance, let me say this. Y'all need to stop going to these freaking churches, asking these people to lay hands on you for your deliverance. You better learn how to go to God and say, Daddy, show me how to operate in self-deliverance. And let him show you what you need to do. Because some of y'all have had people lay hands on you for you to be delivered, and you still ain't delivered. You're not delivered. So then you better ask God what you need to do for your deliverance. Because when you're not a participant in your deliverance, when you're not a participant in your liberation, because that's what deliverance is. We want to make deliverance this super spiritual thing, but deliverance is liberation. And when you refuse to be a participant in your own liberation, you refuse to be a participant in your deliverance. Deliverance is liberation. You're being liberated from strongholds, from generational curses that have held you hostage. But you need to understand that you, not the pastor, not the bishop, not the apostle, not the evangelist, you are the ultimate key to God being able to do a complete deliverance in your life. Because even though they lay hands on you or they declare something to be gone or whatever, you still got to make a conscious choice and decision to walk out your liberation with fear and trembling, lest more come to join them. You got rid of 2. Now here come 10. Because you weren't a participant in your deliverance and your liberation. So you thought that was it. You thought when they laid hands, you thought when they spoke that word and they breathed on you and you fell out that it was done. Nah. True liberation, true deliverance is the stuff that you do on the daily. It's the day-to-day stuff. It's the things that change your mindset, your behaviors, and your actions. That's where true deliverance occurs. Y'all better stop playing. Stop playing. God is trying to take you to a place, but he won't take you there until you're willing to be an active participant. You got to be an active participant. You have to. And there's deliverance in the house. That's why he's got me talking about it. God wants you to walk out your deliverance. See, he's been delivering me. He said, but you got to be a participant. It's not going to be easy and it's not going to be fun. And you're not going to always get it right. But when I get through with you, because you're participating, because you're engaged, it'll be done. It'll be complete. It'll be total. But what we do is in the process, we get frustrated. And we begin to condemn ourselves and we begin to get into a place of self-loathing. And then we stop trying. We stop walking out the liberation. And we just say, I give up. If it was easy, guess what? Everybody would do it. If it was easy. For me, with working out, I didn't work out for about 4.5, 5 weeks, right? I had to get back. Because that physical piece helps me with my mental and my focus and my clarity as well as the physical. I had to get it back. The endorphins, the serotonin that's produced when you work out. I had to get it back. I had to start somewhere. But we get so overwhelmed because we think that we got to start with an hour workout, and you don't. You don't. We make everything so complicated. But it's not. And the beauty, this is the beauty. I want you to check this out. This is the beauty. The beauty is, and I've been saying this, and y'all, I'm telling y'all, I promise y'all, it is the God's honest truth. When I tell y'all what I'm finna tell y'all, like, this is the truth. Like, y'all know me. I don't have time to make stuff up. I don't have time to over exaggerate. I don't have time to blow stuff up. I don't have time for that. But I'm gonna tell you something. I've been doing these freaking 15-minute workouts, and I promise you, the results I'm getting in 15 minutes is more than results I've gotten in an hour and 2 hours of working out. I promise you, these 15-minute workouts, because we think that everything has to take a long time. And if it doesn't take a long time, you haven't done anything. Well, I'm telling y'all, some of the stuff y'all been doing for a long time ain't working, and y'all need to let that ish go because it's not working. So then why would you continue to do something that's not working if it's not working? Could it be that God is shifting you? Could it be that God is maneuvering you? Could it be that God is changing what he's doing in your life to match where he's taking you? Not where you've been, but where he's taking you. Could that be the case? And if that be the case, why would you continue to stay in a place beyond the time that you're supposed to stay there? Because you do know that you'll bring curses on a place because you are there and you're not supposed to be there. You do know that, right? Did you know that? Well, let me tell you that. You'll bring some stuff on a place because you're there and you're not supposed to be there anymore. That's real talk. I remember I had a couple of ministers who were part of my ministry. Amazing amazing leaders. I love them and their family. Like, I would have just let them stay forever, ever, 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 forever, ever, forever, ever, ever. Yes, I would have. But God had something that he needed them to do in a place that he needed them to go. And he told me ahead of time. See, God doesn't do anything without first letting the prophet know. So then it is upon the prophet to decide how they're going to deal with what that information, right? They can use it against people. They can use it against people. They can use it to manipulate, maneuver, condemn, convict. They can do all of that with it. Or they can use that information to help people do what it is that God has told them to do. So listen, this is what I did. I'm just talking about me. I ain't talking about nobody else. I'm talking about me. So I remember he came to me and he said, Dr. B, I don't know. I feel like God is telling me to do something. I said, you mean move? He said, what? How do you know that? I said, because God already told me that he's moving y'all. He was like, for real? I said, yeah. He already told me. He said, wow. He said, but I don't want to go. I said, you've got to go. You got to go. And you've got to go now. God said, go. You got to go. Go and start getting stuff together so that you can make the transition. Now, to some people, they may feel like that means that I don't want people with me, or I don't want people to be connected to me. It's not that. See, I understand that I have a transitional ministry. That means that I help people transition and launch. Listen, if you stay with me for 30 years, that's a whole freaking problem. That's a whole problem. Like, you ought to be being prepared to do something. I expect turnover. I expect rollover. I expect that. And listen, this is the next thing that I expect. I expect to bless you out. That's what I did with them. I blessed them out. I gave them a blessing and sent them on their way. Anything they needed from me, they got it. They needed a letter from me for ministry stuff. They got it. I don't have any desire to hold people that don't belong to me anyway, right? They belong to God, to hold them from their assignment. No, I'm going to release you. I'm going to send you out, and I'm going to send you out with a blessing, especially if you serve me well. This is what I've learned. I've learned that when people serve you well and you send them off with a blessing, it heaps blessings on you. When people serve you well and you don't send them off with a blessing, you're going to experience some stuff. It's going to be some stuff that you experience because you didn't do it right. God is a God of order. God is a God of order. And order is necessary. And so when you're operating outside of the divine order of God, you're going to have to deal with that, especially as it relates to his people. So if you've ever been in a place, and listen, I'm just going to tell y'all, I have not licensed and ordained everybody who came to me and said that they were called to ministry. I haven't. If the Spirit of God did not confirm that for me, then I said, no, I'm not saying that you can't do it. I'm not even saying that God ain't calling you. I'm simply saying that God ain't called me to tell you to do that, or to bless you to do that, or to ordain you or license you. He didn't call me to do that. Now, somebody else can do it, but I'm not doing it because God didn't confirm that with me. Doesn't mean that you're not called to do it. It just means that he didn't confirm that with me. So I'm not the one. Okay? So listen, understand that you have to do what it is that God has told you to do. David Anthony Whitfield, God told me license him, and then told me to ordain him. He told me, showed me very early on who he was. And see, this is the thing about Whitfield. Now, listen, I be messing with Whitfield. Whitfield, you do too much. You do too much. You just be doing too much. But that's part of his personality and his assignment. His assignment is to do too much. That's his assignment. He gonna do too much. He's a faith walker. And the moment he stops doing too much, then he feels constricted. And if something is constricting, like, it means it's not flowing, right? So when he gets into a place of constriction, he can't flow. So what I had to learn with him was I had to let him do too much. And then I had to take what I needed to take from it and let the rest of it fall by the wayside. But not tell him don't do. Constriction. With your heart, if you're in your body, if your blood vessels constrict, They slow down the flow of blood and the ability of oxygen to reach your brain. So what happens? You die. Some of you are in places where you're constricted and you're dying. And you're wondering why you can't breathe. You're wondering why things aren't popping off. You're wondering why you're not prospering. You're wondering why all of these things. But it's because you're in a place that's constricting the blood flow. So listen, in the animal world, who constricts? What animal constricts? What animal wraps around and constricts? What animal does that? Y'all tell me. I'm away. What animal does that? Wraps around and constricts? Because I'm going to take it back to the lesson from Bible study. Yep, Jessica. A snake. All right. In the garden. In the garden. Who constricted? Eve and convinced her. You won't surely die. The serpent. Now we equate the serpent with the snake. It's a whole spirit. It's a spirit. And it's a spirit that manipulates and controls. Absolutely, you guys. Boa constrictor, snake. Absolutely. Snakes are associated with deception. But do you know that that spirit is very prevalent in the church? The whole constricting people, obligating people, making people feel condemned if they don't. That's a whole spirit. That's a whole spirit. And when you are, when you're under that spirit, if you are a person who needs flow, and we all need flow, y'all, I want y'all to hear me. If you're a person that needs flow and you're under that, what's going to happen? I'm going to tell y'all what's going to happen. I want y'all to hear me very clearly. Okay? What's going to happen is either you're going to find ways to get some freedom, or it's going to have you feeling so confined that you revert back to old things because you are so constricted and you just want to escape the constrictions and just have a little bit of freedom, but you don't feel like you can do it. You don't have to allow anyone to have you in that place. And the problem is, and I say this all the time, we have these false sense of loyalty. I'm talking about loyalty to the point where we're dying and other people are living at our expense. You do not have to do that. You look up and you dead and you trying to figure out, how did I die? Self-inflicted wounds. self-inflicted, because you could have chosen something different, but you didn't. And so I'm just going to tell y'all, if you're in bondage, it's a bondage of your own choosing, not necessarily your own making, but your own choosing, right? Someone else may create the bonding, right? The bondage, but you staying, you are choosing it. That's your choice. And you can't be mad at anybody for your choices, but you. See, the moment you assume responsibility for your choices is the moment you can change your life. The moment you assume responsibility for your choices is the moment you can change your life. And change it. Change it rapidly. I had to learn to choose me and my purpose and my destiny, which is why when I started the ministry, Passionate Pursuit of Manifested Purpose Ministry, this is why when I started the ministry with the focus being on people manifesting their purpose. See, the church ought to be a place where we can come together and all work for a common good, a common goal, because there's a vision that is put forth that you're connected to and that you resonate with that vision, so that you can manifest your purpose, right? If you're not manifesting your purpose, then you need to be in a different place, because where you are ought to be manifesting your purpose. If it's constricting you, then listen, your time may be up. We don't want to hear that, though. We don't want to hear time's up. We don't want to hear that. Oh, no. You got to stay for 30 years. If you don't stay for 30 years, you didn't never care nothing about the people. You didn't love them. You just were using them. This lies and tricks from the enemy. Don't allow the enemy to convince you and manipulate you into staying in situations that are past time, that are overdue, that are expired. Not that they were not of God, but that they are expired. When you use expired milk or you drink expired milk, let's say you're making some cornbread and you've got some expired milk, okay? Then you're going to make buttermilk cornbread. It's still going to be cornbread, but it's going to be buttermilk cornbread. Now listen to me. Buttermilk cornbread tastes different from regular cornbread. It tastes different. If you go to make a bowl of cereal, so while you can use that milk for cornbread, check this out. While you can use it for cornbread, you're not finna eat no cereal with no expired milk in it, because if you do, you're going to be sick. So you need to understand that. You need to understand that God is trying to spare you the sickness, but your trifling behind want to keep holding on to what's making you sick, talking about, I don't know why I'm still sick. You still sick because you choosing sickness over wellness and wholeness. That's right, Chelsea. Chelsea said, I jumped into real estate full time. Most disagreed with me, but I had to shift. And sometimes it takes a drastic shift. When I moved into my house, like people were like, well, it don't take all that. You don't have to do all that. No, I had to do all that. I had to do all that to shift my mindset, to shift my state of being, to shift my circle. I had to do all that. Well, that's a waste of money. When you call it a waste of money, I call it a leveling up. See, because once I get accustomed to paying a certain amount of money, when I pay it for what I really, really want, it's not a problem. It's the atmosphere. Let me tell y'all something. I tried to go, listen to this. I tried to go get my nails done. I don't get my nails done all the time, but I tried to go get my nails done in my old hood. Y'all. Hold on, I gotta plug my computer up. It's just trying to die. That's what happens when you don't be plugged in to the right source. You die. So listen. Now listen. I tried to go get my nails done in my old neighborhood. And it didn't happen. And so I had a friend visiting, and she said, oh, well, I found a place near you. Literally, it is in walking distance of my house. It's like a couple of blocks away from me. But, and check this out. the prices are the same as over in my old neighborhood, which was in the hood. The hood. But it was a very different environment. It was very posh. It was elegant. It was where I'm supposed to be. But see, I kept trying to go back to the hood. Y'all gonna catch this. I kept trying to go back to the hood because that's what I knew. God said, listen, I've changed your circle. I've changed what you're around, what you eat, where you go, how you do your daily life. Why are you trying to go back and lick up the vomit? Why? Because it's familiar. Because it's familiar. Hey, Bishop. How you doing, Bishop Kirksey? Good to see you, man of God. Thank you, Jessica. Hey, Jorge. What's up, Britt? How you doing, beautiful? Chelsea, what's going on, gorgeous? Exactly. When you see these women making high 6 and 7 figures, it lets you know it's possible. Y'all, I'm trying to tell y'all that the only thing holding you back from getting to what God has for you is you. It's you. You're what's holding you back. God has more for you, but you're not open to it. You don't want to make the changes required to get to it because it's going to require you to make some people mad. People are going to be upset with you. I find it so interesting. Let me tell you when people really, really fall out with me. People fall out with me when I have to make a shift. When I have to make a shift, I promise you, every single time, I was the greatest thing since sliced bread up until the time I had to make a shift. When God shifted something in my life and they were uncomfortable with it, then they done fell out with me. I'm the most horrible person in the world. I'm manipulative. I'm selfish. I'm controlling. I'm all of these things. And I'm like, what just happened? What just happened? Does that mean I'm perfect? I'm absolutely not perfect. But anyone who has been around me anytime will tell you that I always tell people when this is no longer serving you, you have my permission, even though you don't need it. I know sometimes people feel like they need it to leave. I will not be mad with you. I will not, because God didn't design oh, Jesus. Everybody's not going to be in your life forever in the same capacity. See, we don't understand capacity shifts. We don't understand capacity shift. If the capacity changes, we think the relationship is over. Doesn't have to be, but it can be. Just because the capacity changes doesn't mean that the relationship has to end, but it can end. Because not everyone can handle the capacity shift. Not everybody can change, their role in your life changing. Not everybody can handle that. And so because of that, they throw the relationship away because they can't handle the change. They don't know how to operate in the new relationship because it becomes a new relationship. So that's why it looks like I throw people away. I don't throw people away. I don't. I leave when necessary. But a lot of times, people throw me away because I shifted. Something shifted. And if God shifts me, I'm shifting. And you can be mad, and I get it, and I understand you have every right to your feelings. And, that is what it is. But I'm going with God. And I know that not everybody understands that. I know it makes people uncomfortable when I say, well, God told me to, but God did tell me to. That's what he said. So I'm doing what God said for me to do. And what God told me to do is not necessarily what he told you to do, but you better hear God. And you better hear him for yourself. Because see, once you hear God for yourself, then it doesn't matter what anyone else says, then they should not be able to move you because you heard God. And God's voice ought to be stronger than the voice of your pastor. Did you hear what I said? As a pastor, I'm telling you, God's voice ought to be stronger than the voice of your pastor. Maybe God didn't show your pastor everything. Maybe that's a part of your test to see if you'll do what God says. I know he definitely has done that with me. He'll tell me something and my pastor will be like, I don't know if you should do that. And I'll be like, but God told me to do it. So who will you listen to? Man or God? You got to make that decision. And I'm not telling you to disrespect your pastor or be nasty or anything like that. There's a way to do that. There's a way. And when you're required to do that, know he's growing you up. He's growing you up. See, let me tell you something. My kids and I, we have a different kind of relationship. Okay? But when they were younger, it was some things that they couldn't say to me. Now they're older, we have some different conversations. Why? They're growing up. I can't treat them like they're two. I've got to deal with them where they are. And what I've learned to do is to give them the freedom to make certain choices and decisions. Because if I don't give them the freedom to make those choices and decisions while they're still young and they can recover, then when they're grown and they finally decide they want to make some decisions, it might be life altering permanently. See, we don't want to give people the opportunity to make choices and decisions, but we've got to. Listen, I wasn't trying to be on here all this time. I just, wanted to come on and be obedient. Yes, Chelsea, people will call it rebellious. I'm telling you. Listen, I'm telling you, people will say that you are rebellious, right? And I get it. I get where they're coming from. But their rebellion is God's persistence and determination. What they call rebellion, God will call persistence and determination when you're riding with him. The Bible is replete with examples of situations where people would have said that that person was rebellious, but they were doing what God told them to do. What you gonna do? What man said or what God said? Who are you more concerned about? Man or God? Woman or God? It's choices. Or are you going to continue to allow the constriction until you no longer can breathe? And this is the thing. Sometimes the constriction is deliberate and intentional with the intent to kill you. And sometimes it's just designed to subdue you, but death occurs. I was watching a video, and I normally don't watch these videos because my nerves be bad. But I was watching a video on Christian Key's Instagram, and I hadn't seen it, but there was this man and the police were trying to subdue him. He, was having an episode brought on by, drug use or something, but he was having an episode and he was spitting on them. So they put this thing on his head to keep him from spitting. But when they put the thing on his head, he's on the ground and they're pulling the thing. And they're telling him, calm down. And they keep pulling it and pulling it. They got their knee on him. Eventually, he stopped breathing. Now, do I think that they intentionally meant to kill him? No, I don't think they intentionally meant to kill him. But nonetheless, they did. They laughing and joking and stuff. Oh, he's finally calmed down now. He's dead. Then they tried to resuscitate him. But there was no resuscitation. And then there was the woman, and she says, oh, it's not y'all's fault. This was the episode he probably had a heart attack brought on by the drugs. So it wasn't your fault. Not that you contributed to it. because you cut off his blood flow. Cut off the man's blood flow. What do you think is going to happen? So I take very seriously constricting people. I take that seriously because I know it can kill them. It can cause them to revert back. It can cause them to die both in the spirit and in the natural because they feel tied up and there's no flow. And that's not God. What the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty, there's freedom, there is flow. And I'm going to tell you something. And Bishop, I know you'll attest to this. Real leaders always want you to do not just as well as them, they want you to do better than them, and they want you to do it in a shorter time frame. And they'll do everything in their power to assist you in doing that. That's what real leadership is. We got a lot of unhealthy leadership, particularly in the church, but also in business. We do. Leadership that wants to control you, dictate what you do and how you do it. It's not God. Parents do that sometimes. We do that to our children. I had to learn. Now my older ones tell me that my younger ones, they just out of control because listen, they got freedoms that they didn't have. If that was me, I would have been slapped in the mouth. Well, I realized I don't want to just be slapping y'all in the mouth, punching y'all in the chest, Like, I realized that. I want to raise some people who can make some choices for themselves, some good choices for themselves, and experience the consequences of the bad choices. But whatever choice you make, you made it. You'll never say that I did it. And if you do, you're not telling the truth. You make a choice, that's your choice. I've learned how to support people in becoming good decision makers. And that's the problem with our world right now. People don't know how to function if somebody doesn't tell them everything to do step by step. You can't say clean up the kitchen, because if you say clean up the kitchen, they might clean up the kitchen but not wash the dishes, or they'll wash the dishes but not sweep the floor, because you didn't detail every single thing that they needed to do. No, you need to be able to think the kitchen needs to be clean. No. If the floor is dirty, the kitchen is not clean. If the dishes are dirty, then the kitchen is, if the counters are not wiped down, the kitchen is not clean. We want people to tell us everything to do. Y'all stop that. Then we want to get mad at them for doing it. Stop it. As I'm wrapping up. If you want an individual prophetic word, put a 1 in the comments. If you want an individual prophetic word, and I'll just give you what God has given me. But know that I'm dealing with constriction and release. And I just want y'all to know that you may not want to put that 1 in there if you really don't want to hear what God is saying. Don't put it. But if you want to hear what God is saying, put a 1. Brittany. God says, this one thing I have against you. You've walked away from your first love. He loves you so much. And he wants your relationship to grow. Not that you don't have a relationship with him, but he wants it to grow. Spend some more time with him and watch what happens. Jessica, what God is doing, what God is doing in you is he is preparing you for a bigger stage. I need you to understand that he's preparing you for a bigger stage. There's yet more that you're to do, and you're going to become more visible beyond just the local area. So God is preparing you for that. So your transformation is necessary. God is transforming you. He's transforming you so that you can have a different life. Watch what God does over the next 30 days. You're going to see some major transformations in your life. Some things are going to shift. Watch what he does. Oh, Jorge, you're so sweet. Hold on, let me go back. All right. Jay Hazel. God been done told you to leave where you at. Been done told you. to leave where you're at. He's shown you some things about the leadership, and he's even told you to say some things. You said a little bit of it, but you didn't say everything that he said. And you got to understand that he's going to hold you accountable because you're a prophet. You are a prophet. And I know that you don't want to say it, but listen, you better be obedient to the Spirit of God. Say what you got to say. Do what you got to do. And if necessary, shake the dust from your feet. Chelsea, this is your season of explosion and exposure. This is your season of explosion and exposure. Listen, literally, God is exploding you, right? And see, this is the thing about this explosion. Little pieces of you are going to be everywhere, and not in a bad way, but in a way where your reach is going to be extended. Your reach is going to be extended. He's exploding you and giving you exposure, so people are going to see you. People are going to see you. Miss Carolyn. God is moving, and he's moving you. God is moving. Mm. 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 All right, Jay Hazel. There you go, honey. Yeah, Miss Carolyn, God is moving and he's moving you. Be obedient to the Spirit of God. Eileen, this is a season of shift. Before the spring is over, there will be several shifts in your life. Several shifts. Good, good, Jay Hazel. Good. Several shifts, Eileen. Get ready. Get ready for the shifts. Things are changing. Things are changing. Things are changing. God is doing a spring clean. God is doing a spring clean. In fact, I encourage you, if you haven't started your spring cleaning, that you start your spring cleaning and watch what God does. It's going to be like as you physically clean, like he's literally going to be doing a cleaning of your household, of your heart, of everything concerning you. Whitfield, God is purging you. He's purging you of all of the things that people have said over the years that held you in bondage. He's purging you. And this purge is a permanent one. Those things, I hear God say it's like the Egyptians, right? When the Egyptians were following the Israelites. And God, when he wiped them out, he told them that the Egyptians you see today, you'll never see again. And that's what I'm telling you. The things that God purges from you now, you'll never see it again. Yeah. Yeah. Jorge. God is giving you a greater clarity. He's giving you a greater clarity because listen, this is the thing. You see stuff. You're a prophet. You see stuff. But sometimes you don't know if it's real or if it's just an imagination. It's real. And he's going to give you a greater clarity on the things that he's showing you because some of it you have to tell. You got to tell. Not all of it. Some of it is for you to pray because you're also an intercessor. So you're a prophet, but you're also a great intercessor. And so some of it he's showing for you to tell. Some of it he's showing for you to pray. And so he's going to give you real a sharp vision. He'll give you a sharp vision so that you'll understand it. When to speak and when to pray. Yeah. Nico is nothing but the Spirit of God. In fact, Nico, this is what you need to understand. You need to understand that what God is doing in this season of your life is uncomfortable for you, but it's necessary because this is how you grow and expand. God has literally been closing down friendships and shutting up doors. So things that used to just be smooth, like the doors are being shut on it because God is taking you in a different direction. Don't despise the shift. The shift is necessary for the promises of God to be made manifest in your life. God also said to tell you this and that you would know what it meant. God said when you were 6 years old, you had a whole conversation with him. Had a whole conversation with him. And he made you some promises. Those promises are not void. Those promises will come to pass. When you were 6 years old. Yeah. You all listen. I want you all to know this. Oh, hey, beautiful woman of God. Woman of God, woman of God, woman of God. I want to publicly declare blessing over you and your union, over your ministry and everything that God is doing in this season of your life. I declare and decree that the will of God go forth full steam ahead in your life. I declare and decree that you are who God said you are, and your assignment is what he has called it to be, and no one else can stop it. No one can stop it but you, and you will not stop it, not in this season. The enemy should have caught you last season, but not in this season. Not in this season, boo. This season, you complete it. Complete your assignment, baby, and don't worry about what nobody got to say, what nobody thinks, or how anybody feels. Like, it's irrelevant. You focus on God and your hoods, okay? That's what you do, boo, and watch how God moves in your life. You guys know this. Know that God absolutely loves you. Listen, he wants you to have understanding. He wants you to have clarity, because it's in that place of clarity that you're better able to become more of him, more of him, more of him, right? And so that's why I can say this the way I'm saying it, because there was a time I couldn't, y'all. I promise you. I was pissed off at people because people just made me sick with the foolishness that they were doing. But God, see, now I can love those people, because this is what I know. What I know is that no weapon formed against me shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against me shall be silenced. That's the real. And when you understand that, you'll stop being bitter towards people who are really hurt and wounded. Listen, I say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Because you gave me the opportunity to learn another lesson and to grow more into the person that God needs me to be, to show up the way that he needs me to show up. The word of God says, with loving kindness have I drawn them, right? It didn't say with constriction and manipulation and all of that. It said with loving kindness. And so when people say, I talk too much about love, but God talks about love. The Bible is replete with conversations about love. Love is the underlying theme throughout the Bible. It's love. So you know what I know? I can't go wrong loving people. Even if I don't agree with them, I can love them in our disagreement. I can love them right where they are, you know? And I think that's what we miss. We so busy trying to tell everybody how they need to live and what they need to do and how they need to do it. If I got that much time, then I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do in terms of my work for the kingdom. I got too much time on my hands. So know this. Know that God is working it out for you. He's working out for you. See, God made me some promises. He told me that 2021 is my year to make my first million and help to make the first 7 millionaires that I would make. And all I can do is be obedient to God at all costs. And whatever it costs me and whoever it costs me, it costs me. And when you get to the point where you're in that place, then he can trust you with it. Until you're there, he can't trust you with it, because people will cause you to back up. I'm not backing up for nobody. Not. I'm doing what God told me to do. Reaching out to the people he told me to reach out to. Changing the lives that he's connected me to. All that other stuff. Superficial foolishness. So do what God has called you to do. Walk out your purpose. And check this out. As you walk out your purpose, if you connect with people who are walking out their purpose and your purpose is aligned, then you walk out the bigger vision. Y'all catch that? Passionate pursuit of manifested purpose ministries. It's what it's about. Coming together, locking arms so that we can build for the kingdom of God. Not build for Dr. V, because it's not about Dr. V. Not build for the church, because it's not about the church. It's about the kingdom. It's about the kingdom. And the kingdom grows when you grow. If you want to connect with Passionate Pursuit of Manifested Purpose Ministries, you guys, we are live on Sundays at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we also have our Let's Get Raw, Real Anointed Word. And then it's Let's Get Raw, Work the Word, because we're about working the word, using the word, putting the word into action. If you want to connect, definitely let us know that you want to connect. Send me a message, let me know and I'll connect you. Our ministry is both physical location and virtual. So you can be a part of this ministry anywhere in the continental world, in the world period, anywhere in the world. And I'm telling you guys, this ministry is a bridge building ministry. It is not this super rigid thing. And we're connecting people of different faiths on a common thread, right? We're building some bridges so that God's kingdom people can come together. Because this is the thing. When you're kingdom minded, you won't allow religion to get in the way. I'm going to say it one more time. When you're kingdom minded, you won't allow religion to get in the way. Religion divide, kingdom unites. Thus, that's why you have what's called the United Kingdom, okay? The kingdom unites. You guys, listen, I appreciate you all tuning in this morning. I need you to know that I love you to life and life more abundant. Now, before I go, let me make this declaration over you. I declare and decree that everything your hands touch will prosper, and every place your feet tread, that God has already given you the dominion and you'll walk in that dominion, that your worst days are behind you and your best days are ahead of you, that the promises of God for your life are yea and amen. Yea and amen, which means yes, and let it be so. God has already done the work. Now it's time for you to walk it out. Listen, I love you guys to life and life more abundant. Have an amazing and incredible day. Be blessed. Mwah.